Howdy, and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Going to be looking at another StromBecker kit. This one's a little bit different than what we've seen before, which have been pretty much all wood kits and some wood and plastic, and their first all-plastic kit. This is something a little bit different. So this is a kit of what they call an F-100C Super Sabre, a plastic flying model that's sling launched. And StromBecker at this point, 1952 is kind of the high point for StromBecker. The post-war model kit boom was in swing, and they had sold about 3 million kits in 1952. But by the end of 1954, sales had dropped by 75% in their model kit business. And the writing was on the wall that wood kits were on their way out and plastic kits were in. And so StromBecker invested a lot of money in plastic machinery, and plastic kit machinery, I should say, and started producing plastic kits. They knew they were latecomers to the field, so they tried to create models that were a little bit different than everybody else, try to keep quality high. And then they also came up with this idea, which is a flying plastic kit, if you can believe that. So let's take a look at the kit itself a little bit more. We've got this great artwork on the cover here of a Super Sabre flying off, and with this neat schematics drawing of the Super Sabre behind it. These look like they're probably the actual drawings for the kit itself, because there's some details on here which certainly match up with the kit once you take a look at it. So we've got StromBecker's name down below, patents pending, and copyright SB. And then on the side here, you've got StromBecker logo again, Moline, Illinois. Plastic parts, scale parts, precision molded, polystyrene for quick assembly, double wing and tail surfaces, heavy stiffener and launch plate to make durable construction. Kit complete with launching rod, rubber, colorful authentic skate decal trim. And this shows you the breakdown of the parts. This side here shows you other aircraft in their flying kit series. We've got an Otter, F-102, Cessna L-19, a Tri-Pacer, Orion Trainer, Spirit of St. Louis, T-28, the AF-2S Guardian from Grumman, Cessna 180, the Super Sabre, and then the U.S. Army Otter. On the end, we've got a repeat of the top box art, all flying plastic model kit. There's our kit number, SM50-89, so this is an 89-cent kit. And the SM was for sling model, so out of this series of rubber launched, they'd start with the SM. The rest of the ones that are prop ones are FM in their coating. This end is the same. The box itself is printed directly on the cardboard and then folded over. The bottom of the box, the same thing, folded cardboard. And here we have our instructions. So we start out with a photograph, kind of a drawing of the photograph of the completed kit. This is what's being used for showing placement of the decals as well. Little history on the Super Sabre, photograph of real Sabres, and then an exploded view of the kit itself, again showing some decal placement. And this side's got the assembly instructions with the steps, reinforcement for the wings, the stiffener for inside, then showing trimming with scissors, and then cutting the control surfaces to be able to make it fly better, and then how to fly your glider. There's no date anywhere on this, but it appears that these came out in 1957. There's also no scale listed. This is larger than the 1/70th scale Revell F-100 that we did a build on a little while ago. So I'm going to guess this is probably about 1/65th scale. If anybody happens to know what the scale on this is, definitely let us know in the comment section. You got this little insert here about don't use too much glue with these really thin vacuum formed polystyrene parts. Too much glue looks like may melt it. So be careful with that. And then we've got our decals here. Kind of rolled up a little bit, but they're still pretty good. A little bit of crazing on them. But you do have decals for the cockpit canopy. And this is actually a specific aircraft. It's FW760 is the buzz numbers. Serial number is 52760. And that is actually an F-100A-1 NA for North American. It's constructor number 192-5. And there was the 5th production aircraft. It was actually built as a short tail, and then after the Welch crash of the Super Sabre, the NACA determined that it needed more fin, and so they increased the height on it, which this model kit is representative of the tall fin on the Super Sabre. And eventually this aircraft was modified for recon duties. The requirement was for an aircraft that could perform 530 miles an hour at 53,000 feet, endurance of 5.5 hours, and be able to carry 5 specific cameras. So they modified a couple of F-100s, and this one in particular, the 5760, was modified. They removed the cannons and replaced it with the 5 cameras. There was a 12-inch extension added to the wingtips to allow it to be able to get to that 53,000 feet. The pilot was required to wear a pressure suit. So there were some changes in the cockpit to accommodate a pressure suit, since the cabin pressurization was insufficient for that 53,000 foot level. It was also piped to take 2 additional drop tanks inboard of the ones that were standard. And there was fairing on the side of the nose wheel opening to accommodate the lenses of these larger cameras. These aircraft were called Slick Chicks due to the fact that they were unarmed and were to do penetration reconnaissance. A couple of them were sent to Europe. A couple ones went to the Far East. One, I think, was shot down. This pre-U-2 spy planes being utilized. And they ended up getting retired from the Air Force, and 4 of them ended up going to the Taiwanese Air Force, who then used them over China. The original one, the 5760, was not part of those 4, and it's currently still in existence, and it's at the museum for the desert storage for the Air Force at the Flight Test Center at Edwards Air Force Base. And so is its sister ship 5761. That one is also at Edwards Air Force Base as well. So I was able to locate a few photographs of this aircraft, so we'll show those to you here. Okay, so let's take a look at what our plastic looks like for this kit. So here's our fuselage. As you can see, it's a vacuum form, very, very thin plastic. And we've got a little bit of molded panel lining. It's molded in a real nice silver color. We do have StromBecker printed on the bottom with a patent pending. Nothing on the inside. Here is our other one. Same thing. A little bit of panel molding. Area for the cockpit canopy. Landing gear, doors. And then here's our wings. The top wing. So this is where you were told to cut the control surfaces so you could kind of control the flight a little bit. We got stuff for the slats across the front. Here's the bottom side where you got some gear door representation again. Again, very, very thin. Here's your other wings. So you'd trim this all off once you'd glued this together. Here's our horizontal tail surfaces. We can get this out. Same thing again. You trim those to be able to control it in flight a little bit better. Here's the reinforcements for the wings. Get this up. There we go. So you got one for either side. StromBecker name again on there. And there's our nose cone piece, your intake. Here's our jet exhaust, or afterburner section. Then here's the reinforcing piece. And these two pieces would be cut off and then added to the front here. These are lightning holes. This is kind of warped out of shape a bit, so you'd have to heat this up to get it flat again. And then this is the rubber piece that would go on the front of this when these are stuck on there. There's your rubber band launch. And your stick. Tie it onto the end of there and pew! Off she goes. So there you have it. Flying plastic model. That's a little bit outside of what we're typically looking at. We're usually looking at static models. But I thought this was pretty interesting to see. How often do you see a flying plastic model from the 50s? So there you have it. That is your StromBecker Super Sabre. And it's not an F-100C, it's an F-100A. But if you've built one of these, absolutely tell us about this one. Did it fly? How easy was it to actually put together, being all vacuum form parts? If you've got one still sitting on your shelf, absolutely take a picture of it. There's very little information online about this. I was not able to find any pictures of a built kit, or aside from ScaleMates having a picture of the box. That is it. I was not able to find really anything else about this. So if you do have more information as well, and definitely include it in the comment section. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and have yourself a great rest of the day.